Hey guys, Shadow Reviewer here. Today, I'll be looking at Avatar: The Last Airbender, Book 1, Chapter 12, The Storm. This is hands down the best episode from the season. I don't think there's any doubt here. The way they set up the two plots in this episode is a work of art. Just a work of art. So Aang is having nightmares of what happened 100 years ago before the iceberg. The way they set up Aang's character is fantastic. This elderly guy pretty much straight up tells Aang that you turned your back on your own people, because of course he doesn't believe he's the actual Avatar. And as much as it hurts for Aang to hear, the old man ain't wrong. As we find out later, Aang actually ran away when he found out that not only is he the Avatar, but he has to move away. And that big responsibility, can you honestly blame him? He's just a kid. He's got to learn to have fun, live life. But taking on a big responsibility like this, given that he's destined to, is a lot to take on his mind. And of course, he runs away in the storm. He in his Avatar state, he creates the big ball of ice that we saw from the very first episode. The rest you know. So, the way they set up this whole reason why Aang did all this is beautifully done. What would you do in his position? Who honestly knows? And then when he tells Katara all this, you expect her to be like, he's expecting her to turn her back on him. But not only does she support him, she tells him that there was nothing he could do even if he stayed. That she shouldn't dwell on the past and move forward. That's Katara hands down one of her best moments comforting Aang. And honestly, it's just beautifully sweet. And at the end, the elderly man realizes what he's done, and after he and Sokka are saved. Yeah, Sokka went out there with him despite being told there was a storm out there. He gets a few fun moments here and there. The old man eventually apologizes to Aang, and honestly, being saved enough is enough to sway any person. Honestly, Aang's character here was great. And now we go on to what is my favorite of the two plots in this episode, Zuko's. Now, Zuko, being his old self, finding the Avatar, even though he's told by Iroh there's a storm coming, he doesn't care. And the fire lieutenant, he does have his doubts, and yeah, I honestly don't blame him when the prince says he doesn't care about anybody. You honestly don't blame him. But then Uncle Iroh tells the lieutenant and the rest of the crew about what really happened. So Zuko wanted to learn more about his future as the king. So when he hears about what the Fire Nation are planning to do to the Earth Kingdom, he immediately stands up, despite being told to keep quiet, that it's wrong. And not only is the Fire Lord infuriatingly angry, to his son's sad surprise, he challenges him to Agni Kai, which of course is a fire-bending duel. And honestly, this is hands down possibly one of the darkest moments in the series. And yeah, we'll get to more of that later, but in the show. But man, is it surprisingly dark. The way Zuko realizes that he has to fight his father, he refuses, and you can see from the animation his tears. He doesn't want to fight him. And the Fire Lord's words has given me some of the darkest, one of the most haunting words you could ever hear him say to his son. And suffering will be your teacher. And he prepares to burn him with the scar that we see today. And oh my god, even when Iroh has to turn away seeing his nephew suffer, just because he's speaking from the heart, is gonna be one of the most devastating moments in the Avatar series. And surprisingly enough, in the scene where Iroh turns away when Zuko's getting burnt, this is actually canonically the first time you see Azula on screen. Most people would think, oh, no, she appears in the final episode of season 1. No, she didn't. This was her first canonical appearance. Honestly, I love that surprise detail. But hands down, this is not my favorite scene in the episode, but possibly one of the darkest moments in the show. Oh. And the lieutenant realizes that why Zuko is so obsessive. Because, of course, after this happened, Zuko was immediately banished. And Zuko further proves that he's not heartless, as the helmsman is almost caught in the storm, and as he almost falls, Zuko and the lieutenant team up to help him. Honestly, this goes to show why Zuko is possibly one of the best characters in the show. There are moments of humanity in him, and this is honestly one of them. And his apology to his uncle is gotta be some of the best writing. And Iroh knows he already forgives him is beautifully done. And even in the final show where even in the final moment where Aang and Zuko look at each other without speaking a word, it's some of the most beautiful stuff you've ever seen. It's downright perfect. I mean, this episode shows that how to root for your protagonist while feeling some reasonable pain, and how to sympathize with your villain while feeling some pain. This is the best they did for Aang and Zuko, and it's perfect. So this is my review of Chapter 12, The Storm. Possibly just the best episode of the season, one of the best written, has great character for both Aang and Zuko, and it's beautifully done animation. It's beautiful, man. It's perfect. So tomorrow I'll be looking at Chapter 13, The Blue Spirit. Until then, I'm the Shadow Reviewer, signing off.